to Norway. We're going to one of the most northerly inhabited parts of the world. It's called Svalbard, if I remember that rightly. It's formerly known as Spitsbergen, and I think it still is in French. But it's a sparsely populated archipelago, hundreds of miles off the northern Norwegian coast. It's got a strange status in Norway and in Europe because immigrants do not need a visa to either live or work there. They only need prove they have a place to live and be financially independent.
And presumably they like living in the dark, because I imagine there's
Exactly.
not much daylight up there, is there?
There's a quid pro quo here.
Okay, well let's take a look.
Svalbard, a harsh, unforgiving environment where road signs warn of polar bears and snow scooters lie beached waiting for winter. High in the Arctic, this Norwegian outpost is the most northern town in the world. In winter, temperatures in Longyearbyen can drop as low as -40, and it's pitch black 24 hours a day. And yet, this small community of 2,000 people is an international melting pot with 31 different nationalities. Violeporn came here 3 years ago when she married a Norwegian.
In wintertime, it's very, very cold, to the point where I have to put on 3 or 4 layers of clothes.
Violeporn is one of about 100 Thais who live here, and she's brought a taste of her homeland with her. She works as a cook in a local restaurant, serving up Thai food with a twist, like stir-fry whale. Kazim also cooks up late-night snacks in his mobile kitchen. He arrived as a refugee from Iran almost 7 years ago and got stuck here when Norway rejected his claim for asylum. Setting foot on the mainland would have seen him deported immediately. He now has residency papers in Switzerland, but has no plans to leave.
I have here too much. I have my business, I have my home, and I have another job here.
It's easy for foreigners to come here. You don't need a visa, work or residency permits. The only requirements are somewhere to live and the means to support yourself financially, as there's no welfare system. And the low tax rate means it's easy to save money.
If you talk with citizens in Longyearbyen, you'll find that many of them, they came here up on a one-season basis, and they've been here for 20 years. So it's very easy to be captured of the simplicity, the extreme nature, the beauty of the nature.
But the environment's not suited to everyone. Accidents, suicides and run-ins with polar bears claim 1 or 2 lives every year. A reminder that wherever they come from, people on Svalbard live on nature's terms.
It looks absolutely fantastic there, doesn't it?
It does for a weekend.
I'd rather not have that running with the polar bear though, let's put it that way. So a long way to go for a meal, but as you say, just for a weekend maybe. Okay, what's next?
Next we have a remarkable story from New York, where a 19-year-old by the name of Rodney Bradford was accused of having taken part in the armed robbery of 2 men in Brooklyn on the 17th of October. But when it came to court, the judge acquitted him on the strength, or partially on the strength, of an alibi, because he was able to prove that his Facebook status was updated 1 minute before the attack took place. Now, the police, understandably...
It sounds a little bit dodgy.
Well, hear me out. The police are not buying it. They claim that it would be very easy to concoct an alibi in this situation. You give somebody your username and your password to log in and do it in a preordained fashion.
The skeptical cop.
Absolutely, yeah. But wait till you hear good cop.
Okay.
And also, legal experts are worried it might set a dangerous precedent. However, the truth is a little bit more prosaic. It was actually the third alibi. It was the icing on the cake accepted by the judge. There were actually 2 previous alibis. He was visiting his... he lives with his mother in Brooklyn.
That's a good sign.
Yep. He was visiting his father and his stepmother in Harlem. And all 3 of them testified to the fact that he was visiting there at that time. And the judge said himself he would not have taken just the Facebook status update itself. So it's not really as insane a story as we think it is.
Okay, but do we know whether the judge is on Facebook?
Yeah, it could be. I'm sure he's friending him by now.
Okay, now teenage pregnancy is an issue that I've reported on over the years. I remember Manchester at one stage was supposed to be the world capital of teenage pregnancy, which isn't too far from where I was brought up. not guilty before you even ask. Don't bother. Tell us about this new development you brought in.
There's a new development in Colombia, the Colombian capital, Bogota. It's part of a pilot scheme called Think It Over, which is offering advice for youngsters, i.e. teenagers, to maybe think over what the consequences might be if they have unprotected sex at an early age. So children as young as 14 are given a baby to mind for 48 hours. It's not a real baby, but it does a lot of what a real baby does. It's
cries and soils itself.
Exactly,
and,
yeah.
Okay.
It's super programmed. It's life size, weighs just over 3 kilos. It's battery operated. It cries periodically. That's the one, yeah. And it's programmed to cry periodically to prompt its carers to feed it or comfort it. And it's very much intended to discourage the teenagers from making their own baby. So it's a little taste of responsibility that might put some kids off.
Okay.
Few of whom have the means to support a child.
Okay, ay caramba, I suspect is what they might have said about that one
Indeed.
there. So that's happening in Colombia. We've done similar schemes, I know, in the UK, but certainly it's good to see that a kind of responsible attitude is being fostered there in Colombia. Now then, we saw shots from one school there in Colombia. Now we're looking at another school of another kind in another place.
Yes, we're looking at a very, very right-on school. It's in Sheffield, in Yorkshire. And it has just been designated a nature reserve, the first building of its kind in Britain to be designated a nature reserve.
A school as a nature reserve?
Well, actually, its roof has been designated a nature reserve.
It gets better and better.
It gets better. So the vegetation roof on Sharrow School, it's a recent enough innovation, was installed in 2007. Its original intention was to offer a little bit of space where children, the pupils, could observe nature in motion, so to speak. It's quite big. It's about 2,000 square meters, which is quite a hefty nature reserve on top of the school.
They've turned the roof into a kind of park then, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and it has helped control stormwater, humidity. They use rainwater to service the toilet cisterns. So it's quite innovative, and it's one of 120 green roofs in Sheffield and more than 2,500 in the whole of the UK.
Fantastic stuff. So that's it then, I think. If only we could do that with our roofs here at France 24. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You'd never get us in the office to work, would you?
Yeah, there's loads of space.
Oliver Farry, thank you very much for that glimpse of a world in motion. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Back again tomorrow, I hope.
Indeed.
Excellent. Good. And I hope you're going to join us again tomorrow as well. Thank you for watching. This has been Live from Paris. You're watching France 24. More news coming up. Stay with us.